Hi dear students, the last class we discussed about the inheritance technique. The last class we discussed about the what is inheritance. Inheritance means what? Inheritance means it is the ability of class which one class which acquires the properties of another class. Okay, the one class which take the property from another class. The base class and the derived class in this. Okay, this is a base class. These are all three of the derived classes. Last class we discussed about this. Okay, the last class we discussed about the main advantage of inheritance. The main advantage of inheritance is a reusability of a code. That is the main advantage of inheritance. Okay, last class we discussed about the types of inheritance. Okay, what are the types of inheritance? There are 5 types in that single inheritance. Okay, then the hybrid inheritance. This is we have to discuss today. We have to discuss about the hybrid inheritance, how the hybrid inheritance will be work. Okay, see that you have to today you have to discuss about this. Okay, then see this is the last topic of this chapter, inheritance. The first, the what is virtual base class. What is virtual base class? In examination they will ask you explain virtual base class with the example and syntax and example. What is virtual base class? You know already base class. Base class means nothing but see the very only base class ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? Base class means the class which, okay, the properties are inherited to the other class, which inherit the property to the other class. Okay, that is called base class. Okay, base class, for example, a is in this diagram a is a base class. Why it is base class? Because it gives is all property to b and c classes. It gives the all property to the b and c class. Okay, that's why it is a which class? It is base class. Okay, one copy of or one idiom copy ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇದರದು base class. One copy comes to here, and here also you are getting one copy of base class comes to C also. Means what? B and C are the derived classes which takes the properties from A. Okay, which takes the properties ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ರಿ? Data members and member functions. Okay, data members ಮತ್ತೆ member function ನ okay ತಗೋತದೆ. Okay, they see the base class which gives the all properties to B and C. That's why it is called base class. Then B and C are these are nothing but derived classes. Okay, last class you discuss about this. Now you have to discuss about the virtual base classes. Already you know only base class, but today I have to discuss about the virtual base class. What is virtual base class? See, virtual base class, it prevents the copies of the properties inherited by the multiple base classes. It prevents what? It prevents the copies of the properties inherited by the multiple base classes. For example, see multiple base classes. See, for D is a derived class. D the base classes ಯಾವುವು? See, D the base classes B and C. B and C are the base classes of a D. Why means the B's properties comes to D, then C the properties comes to D. Okay, ಎರಡರದ್ದು properties D ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Then if you want A properties to D, okay, if you want to inherit the A properties to the D ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, then ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರ್ತವೆ. See, A properties goes to B, then A property goes to C. Okay, then one copy comes to here, A property. See, one copy of A will be comes to C. These two at a time it will comes. Then you are getting error. Okay, if 2 copy comes means you are getting error. To overcome this drawback, you have to use a keyword virtual ಅಂತ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಸಿ ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್, ಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ನೀವು ಸಿ B and C takes the properties from A. Okay, then if D wants to properties of A, B wants to properties of A ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ then what you have to ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾವೆ ಎರಡು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಏದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಬಂದಿರ್ತದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಬಂದಿರ್ತದೆ then ಎರಡು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಎಟ್ ಎ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂತಂದರೆ it gives error in the program to overcome this drawback two copies at a time ಬಂತಂದರೆ it gives error ಓಕೆ ಎರರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಎರರ್ ಬಂದ ಟು ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡ್ರಾಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅದು ಎರರ್ನ ನಾವು ತೆಗಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶುಡ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಅ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಸಿ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ virtual base class means see it prevents the copies of the properties inherited by the multiple base class inherited by the B and C it gives the all properties to the D okay it gives the all properties of A means what you are getting two copies if two copies same copies comes means you are getting error then that's why to overcome this drawback you have to use a virtual keyword use ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ you have to debug the errors okay in the program got it see D ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ A ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಬರ್ತವೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ A ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಬಂತಂದ್ರೆ you are getting a error okay that's why to overcome this drawback you have to use a virtual keyword okay you know keyword nothing but it is in white letters these are reserved words okay must and should you have to use see keyword that what is virtual base class means see to avoid this to prevent these copies of the properties inherited by the multiple base class inherited by the B and C properties are come to D okay A properties also come to D but it gives error to overcome this drawback to prevent this you have to use virtual base classes so see for D purpose which is the virtual base class the B and C are the virtual base classes for a D okay this is your remember okay ಇದು ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ A ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಎಲ್ಲ B ಬರ್ತವೆ then ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ A ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಬರ್ತವೆ C ಬರ್ತವೆ okay all properties as comes to C if D wants the properties of A then ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ it takes the property from C property ಇಲ್ಲಿನೂ A ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇರ್ತವೆ okay properties of A will be copied to here the properties of A also here copied to here ಎರಡು ಕಾಪೀಸ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ it gives error ಬರುತ್ತೆ to overcome this drawback you have to use a virtual keyword okay this is you have to remember okay this is diagram definition you have to write this diagram and write a explanation okay this is you have to remember then how to write syntax of virtual base class in examination they will ask you class derived class inherited operator not scopulation operator inherited operator then you have to use virtual visibility mode means public private anything you can take must and should you have take a public only then base class name then the data member function okay this is what this is about how to write see I'll just give one example then you can understand about the virtual base classes okay virtual base class it's very easy concept you have see suppose the A properties if you want D it wants the A's properties all properties how it will inherit it see if suppose it wants the all properties of A D wants the all properties of A already these are comes to C the A properties are already comes to B and C it takes all the properties from B and C but it gives a error because two copies are comes at a time ಬರುತ್ತೆ D ಗೆ it gives error to overcome this drawback you have to use keyword virtual okay this is you have to remember this is the syntax of virtual base class that I am writing one small program okay I want to write a program to sum of three numbers. Okay, I want to write a program for sum of three numbers. Sum of three numbers ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ತ್ರೀ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಸಿ, ಒಂದು ನಂಬರು ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಂಬರು ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, then another number is also in other class. Then you have to merge these. How to merge? Okay, see, first hash include iostream dot h, then connew dot h, then I am taking class A. Class name is A. Okay, then I am writing here public. In public I am writing int I. Okay, I am taking one variable name int I. Okay, that the class B, the all properties are inherited to A properties. Properties andre yavu idaರಲ್ಲಿ A properties is nothing but I want to inherit it here. What you have to use? You have to use class name. This is DB is a derived class, then a inherited operator. You have to use virtual keyword. Virtual keyword is what we virtual keyword, then public then here I am writing the public int j, then close the class. Then now I am taking class C. Here also virtual public public A. Then here I am taking public int A. Then these three I am taking. Now I am taking B, class B, inherited operator. Then what? Then you have to use public. D inherits the properties of B. Okay, and comma public C, then public int sum. See, this is what is a small program. Okay, in this program the class A is a base class. It contains the property. Which property? I is a one property. I want to inherit this to B. I want to inherit this property to the B. Then what you have to write? Class B virtual public A. Public A. Virtual means what? This A property will becomes to B. Okay, in B you have a int j. Now it contains two data members, which is one int j. Indirectly it contains int j and int I, because here A properties are all properties are come to B. Okay, if you write like this, the all A properties are comes to B. Then same like that C, the C A all properties are comes to C. Now the class C, it contains int I, then int k. Int I and k ಎರಡು properties ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Then next class D. Now class D, see, it wants the properties of B and C. B ಮತ್ತೆ C at a time ಎರಡು properties ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. Okay, properties of B and C. Then you write public int sum. See, D it takes the property from B and C. It takes the property from B and C. That's why you have to write the public B, public C without using virtual. Only you have to give virtual to B and C ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ keyword. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ these are called virtual base classes. Virtual base classes. Why it is called virtual base classes? Means it prevents the multiple copies of. Okay, because it prevents the multiple copies. ಎರಡು ಕಾಪಿ ಇರ್ತವೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. That's why the B and C are called virtual base classes. Okay, of D. These are the virtual base classes of class D. Okay, now I want to then I am taking now void main In void main take one class. ಒಂದು you have to create object. First object ಯಾವುದು create ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? See, you have to take D. D is one class name. I am taking a P is a object name. D I am taking a P is a object name. Now you have to give the values. Values ಕೊಡ್ರಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು. Okay, because you cannot give values. See, you have to give here values P dot first one ಯಾವುದು ಇದೆ I. P dot I equal to 10. Then P dot J equal to 20. P dot K equal to 30. Then ಇದರ sum ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್? Sum equal to P dot I plus P dot J plus P dot K. Then see out sum. See out P dot sum, please see out P dot sum, then close the. Always you have to take a dot operator, because you know already if you want to accessing the every data members through dot operator, data members ಮತ್ತೆ member function na outside the class ನೀವು access ಮಾಡಬೇಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ must and should you have to use a dot operator. Dot operator na use ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. See, in this what will happen? See, what will happen here? First int I ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ? I 10 ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. Okay, then here J ಎಷ್ಟು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ? 20 ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದರ ಜೋಡಿ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ A class properties comes to 20 ಮತ್ತೆ 10 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, ಮತ್ತೆ K ಎಷ್ಟು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ? 30 ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. 30 ಅಂದರೆ all virtual class 10 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, then if you want to avoid these two copies, at a time you are getting 10 means you are getting error. To overcome this drawback, you have to use a virtual keyword use ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Then it gives only one copy. Okay, one copy ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. B and C. B ಇದು value ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 20 comes to here. Then it gives a C 10 plus 20 plus 30. Okay, you are getting answer 60 answer ಬರುತ್ತೆ. It means what? See, the A it has a properties. A class ದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 10 ಇದೆ. I want to inherit this 10 value to B and C. Then automatically 10 value comes to B and C. Then now D it wants to inherit the properties from A. D it wants to inherit the property from A through B and C. Through B and C. That's why you have to use a virtual. ಏನಾದರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡಲಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ you cannot inherit the properties. You cannot inherit the properties from A to D. Okay, from A to D you cannot inherit the property. That's why what you have to do? See, you have to write a virtual. For example, 10 base A ದಲ್ಲಿ base class A in class we have a value 10. Then in B class we value 20. In the C class we have a value 30. Then this is what? This is a sum. This is nothing but a sum. Then see, base class A ಗೆ ಅದರ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, A ಗೆ ಏನು ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ? 10 ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. Then B ಗೂ ಏನು ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ? 10 ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. Then D it wants to inherit the property of A. Then at a time 2 10 ಬರಲ್ಲ. Then it if you want to avoid this drawback you have to use a virtual. Then already for this D all whole these 10 20 then 30 three values are comes to these three values are inherited by D. That's why 10 plus 20 plus 30 nothing but it is nothing but a virtual base class ಅಂತಾರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. Okay, must and should you have to use a virtual keyword. Okay, what is a virtual base class? Virtual base class nothing but it prevents the copies of properties inherited by the multiple base classes. Okay, multiple base class. That's why you have to in this B and C are the virtual base classes. In this program, B and C are the virtual base classes. Why it is virtual base class? It prevents two copies. ಓಕೆ, ಎರಡು ಕಾಪಿ ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನು ಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಬಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಿ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಟೂ ಕಾಪಿ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ವರ್ಚುವಲ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. Okay, this is you have to remember. This is what this is about, a virtual base class. Next in examination they will ask you what is, one mark question, what is abstract class? What is abstract class? What is abstract class? The class which is not used to creating object. The class which is not used to creating object is called abstract class ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನ ನೀವು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯು ನೋ ಡಿ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಪಿ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. Okay, you cannot use that class to create object. That type of class is called a abstract class antare. Now here P and C and A, B, C, these classes are called abstract class antare. Why it is called abstract class? Because these classes I am not using for to create a object. ಅವನ್ನ ನಾನು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಟು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. To creating object I am using only D. I am using only D. Okay, that's why A, B, C are the abstract class antare. Then what is abstract class? The class which is used to not creating to object, which is not used to creating object. That is called a abstract class. One mark question ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಿ. This completes this chapter. Okay, inheritance chapter already I am sending notes. Okay, ನೋಡ್ಕೊಡ್ರಿ. when you coming to the college, must and should you have to write all notes. ಓಕೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ನಾನು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ಸ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರದ್ದು ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತು 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇವನ್ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನ್ರಿ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಬರ್ರಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ call me or message me. Okay, thank you for watching this video.